it will be really nice if we can join in person.
Right, sir. And I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to see you after a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Sir, this is my lockdown look. Hope you can recognize me.
You can switch on your yeah. That's very nice. COVID beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out of my stocks and was planning to come. Then you also suggested that online.
We
also
can do even online also. We can do.
Yeah, sir. So I was not used to it, but I think I can visit in a couple of.
Yeah, you can visit. Now things are all open. So
great, sir.
I'm quite
so
yeah. I think in another 2 minutes we can start. Quite a lot of people have joined.
Sure, sir.
Doctor, I like the caricatures behind you. It's really nice.
Oh God.
Hi, Deepa, how are you?
Good, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Nice you arranged this because this is the place where many people can join in.
Yeah, exactly. True. That's very true. We were planning to actually hold a group meet in May. That was the decision last time, but things didn't work out. And then doctor said this virtual meet idea. So I think that's far better. Everybody can join, and it's a convenience.
Yeah.
This is very out.
Because last 3 months people have been used to this kind of things, and so it is now means we miss something, because I attended my school's meet, my college friends meet, also come to meet. So this is a new
people have become closer now, I think, with this kind of thing.
Exactly. And
I should say same thing. Even I was celebrating my birthday last month, and for the first time I actually met my family face to face through Zoom. I should say, which generally doesn't happen. My sister, everybody was there online wishing me, which generally doesn't happen. It's only a phone call that happens. So I should say it was really nice.
So
online
you also have the chance to save a lot of money by throwing a party.
Very true.
Escape from those expensive treats and do it. Cake cutting in front of.
Actually, I saved a lot of money than this month. Miss some birthday cake cuttings, but that's okay. I can tell it.
Yeah,
a lot of people have beards. That's what I observed. Most of the men seem to be growing beards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sir. The thing is that the salons were also closed, and due to the precautionary this thing, also we never used to go last. Now everything is open, of course, but still people are trying to keep kind of precautions, and that is why.
Maybe we can start, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure. I think a lot of people have joined, and so I think we can start off. Lena, are you ready?
Yes, ready.
Ready to start off.
So
let's start.
Have everyone ready?
Good morning, sir.
Small thing. When we actually start the meeting, except the person who is speaking, maybe the others can keep their microphone mute. Of course, you can keep your video on. That's not an issue. Please, that will be a pleasure. Hi, Bryce. How are you? Nice to see you. So I think Bryce's mic is muted. Yeah. So
good morning, sir.
Yeah.
This is Jafar. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Jafar. Hi. So shall we start? And then
I just put my attendance. That's why I say hi.
Everybody can speak. Anybody who wants can speak for a minute or two. That's not an issue.
Yes, sir. I just want to say my hi and put my attendance. That's why.
That's great. That's great, Jafar.
Okay, sir.
That's
Thing,
really nice.
you can come on video, Jafar.
Thank you, sir.
Jafar, by the way, has been helping us with some of the absolute charity cases. In fact, he is liaisoning with Red Crescent and all that, and has been very supportive in some patients who cannot afford even this Musanda kind of thing. So trying to get some concession from the Red Crescent and all that. So nice to see Jafar also.
It's my pleasure to.
Good
No,
job,
no.
Jafar. Very nice. Very nice things to be done during this period, I should say.
Yeah. Lena, if you're okay, we will start.
Lena, you're muted. Can we start?
I realize now. Yes, I realize now that I'm muted. Yes, we can. Yes.
Let Deep with the introduction, and then you can carry forward. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, a very warm good morning to all of you. And I'm really happy to see all of you once again. I mean, actually, I think there are more number of people logged in than the usual get-togethers we tend to have. So, really, thank you so much taking this effort, taking the time. As I always say, I really appreciate all of this. And thank you to Dr. Srikumar. Thank you to Dr. Lena, of course. So, for arranging this, this means a lot for all of us because it's difficult sometimes to get the information about how to handle during this time of COVID, how we can handle psoriasis or what kind of complications that we might face. So when you kind of arrange these group meets, this means a lot of information is given at, rather than reading, we just get it directly on hand, and that means a lot. So thank you, and I welcome all of you guys once again to the group meet, and happy to see all of you. We have two amazing doctors who will be speaking to us, and all the details will be shared by Lena. She'll give you the introduction about all these things. So thanks, and Lena will speak on.
So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Srikumar, Deepa, everyone for taking 1 to 2 hours from your day, especially Friday. My name is Lena. I'm from Axios. We are from WIAC group. I think my other colleagues are there, Wissam, Rafa, and Marwa. Each one of us can introduce themselves.
Hi everyone. Good morning everyone. This is Rafa. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you will enjoy the session. It's very nice meeting you online today.
Hi everyone, this is Wissam. I'm from WIAC program based on Abu Dhabi, and I hope you enjoy today's meeting.
Good morning everyone. I'm so glad to participate in Dr. Srikumar patient group, and I hope we will all enjoy this 1 hour, and we will get a lot of information that will help us in this time of the pandemic.
Thank you. So just a quick fast. This is only explaining that we know that each one of you have their own journey from diagnosis, treatment, reaching to the adherence, and our program supporting through each stage of this journey, from either it is a lab test, either it is a delivery of medication, financial support, or just a call, or as we see a patient group, especially thankful with Dr. Srikumar. I think my colleague Wissam will explain more about our program.
Yes, sure. So all of you know that WIAC program is one of Access International programs, and it's adherence program, and was designed and implemented to support the patient who are taking prescribed Cosentyx. So we are supporting patient from different perspective, like a proactive call, proactive follow-up call, reminding the patient about their medication and about their appointment. Face-to-face meeting, we set a face-to-face meeting with the patient to educate him how to take the medication by himself, and also emotional support. Also, we give the patients disease and medication education material. Also, if the patient has any issue with the insurance, so we are here to support him as well. So during the patient journey, if he faced any problem with rather than this, we will be there to solve it. And try to keep the patient in the right track to take the medication in the right time, and in the right time and in the proper way. Thank you.
Okay, we would like to hear from you. We understand this is a great platform that it will really help us to improve our kind of support. So we will be putting some question, and we hope each one of you answer. I will be putting them in the chat, and you can press whatever, like one second question each, just for the sake we are trying to improve our kind of support. I will be putting the question in the chat room, and you can choose, and it will show immediately without any name. It will not show any name, so you can freely feel free to put whatever you want in the answer box. I think my colleague will start. First thing, one of the first question, I will want to see if you are all interested of having a patient support app, mobile app. I know that now we are doing the group online, so we'll be more than happy to know if you are happy to have a mobile app where you can access all your information. You will be posting online and you will be answering. Need 1 second from your time. I will keep the question on the online, and you can answer it during the host so that we will not take a long time from your time. Next, I will go with the next slide, and you can answer freely for all the question later.
Okay. Lina, I think are your slides visible? Okay.
Yes, yes. Now you have it. Do you have challenge of receiving or your medication at home? Do you have any work challenges? Do you have any problem of finding jobs? I will put posting in the note in the chat box the question and the answer, and you can freely answer. I will continue with the presentation, my colleague, and you can freely answer so that we will not take long time from the presentation. I believe my colleague, she will be explaining a little bit, now it's COVID-19 situations. So she will be giving you some tips. The floor for you, Marwa.
Yes, now there is do and don'ts, and it is a chance how to reduce to being infected or spreading the COVID-19 by taking some simple precaution. And here we go, like the second slide, you can show it, Lina, then do and don'ts. So as we can see here, keep a distance between yourself and any another person for at least 1.5 between yourself and the others. And then whenever you have to sneeze or the coughing, you have to go ahead for an tissue study. But if it is not available next to you, then you have to keep it in your elbow. Because we don't want to spread these droplets on the surface around us, or if we are speaking with another person. The third one is to avoid unnecessary social contact. It's preferable this time to stay at home as much as we can. And then there we have, if we have developed any flu and cold symptoms like sneezing, fever, coughing, it's better to get in touch with your doctor as soon as possible. And then regarding the shake hands and greetings to our colleagues or in home or whenever we are outside, it's better to be as much as we can, like we as we said previously, keep a distance, and then just like wave from far, nod or bow. And washing the hands, we will speak it more in details in the next slides, but we have to wash our hands frequently. Because we don't know, maybe we put our hands in a surface that's been contaminated with the droplets of any another patient's previously sneeze or cough. And don't buy more than you need, as much as we can. Everything is clear and available in all the market, alhamdulillah, in a good like in a good places. And then when we are staying at home, try to keep calm, do any practice with our families, enjoy the time that we are with our families. The next slides, it will be about washing the hands. For sure, when we handling any animals, especially like they have animals in home like dogs or cats. If we are dealing with it or dealing with the animal waste, we have to wash our hands. And also whenever it's got dirty, and after the toilet use, after the coughing or sneezing, and also when we are caring for the sick persons, and before or during and after preparing our food. And the last one, it will be before and also an eating. I hope this is a reminder for all of us. I know everyone is doing it from long time, like since March or before March, but it is a reminder for us to keep ourselves and beloved one safe as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Marwa. I think welcome Dr. Humaira. She joined us.
Yes, hi.
Hi, good morning, Doctor.
So would you like me to share my screen and start?
Yes, sure, Doctor, sure. Welcome.
Okay, just a minute. I'm just trying to tell. Okay. You see my screen?
I'll give you the share. You can try to share again, Doctor. Yes.
Just have to do the screen. Okay. So you can hear me and see me, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be talking about COVID-19 and immunosuppressant medication. So I guess most of the people who have joined us today have psoriasis, but some of my rheumatology patients will also be joining the call. They have psoriatic arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. So we have been in the middle of this pandemic, COVID-19. It's caused by coronavirus. There are other types of coronavirus. COVID is only the 7th coronavirus. And from 11th of March, we have been in what's called a global pandemic. So far, unfortunately, no specific treatments or vaccinations are available, and it can infect humans and animals. And in humans, some coronaviruses cause different diseases from common cold to acute respiratory distress syndromes. We really don't know where it came from. It's not relevant now. It could have moved to us from bats. It could move from the Wuhan seafood market, but now it doesn't matter because now we are more focused on how to control this. We all know by now it spreads by droplets, by coughing, sneezing, but it also spreads by touching surfaces. And if you, use if you have, it can last on your gloves. So people wear gloves, and then you go around touching everything with your gloves, and then you touch your face or you touch other parts of your body, and that's not a good idea. The main thing is to keep washing your hands with soap and water. It can last on many surfaces such as wood, steel, glass, paper, and plastic for even days at a time. But be careful, just because you think you're wearing gloves, you're not safe if you're not using the gloves in a responsible manner. So to disinfect surfaces, the disinfectant should have more than 60% alcohol. So the incubation period of this can be anywhere from 2 days to 14 days, but usually it's around 5 to 7 days. The number of people who die varies from country to country. Some countries like Italy, we saw even 7 to 10%, but usually it's around 2.5 to 5%. Most 80% will have mild to moderate disease, and about 13% will have severe, 13 to 20% will have severe disease. So we know what the symptoms: fever, cough, difficulty breathing, muscle pain, feeling very tired, loss of smell and or loss of taste can happen. In some people, it's just diarrhea, only diarrhea, or even skin rashes, which are new. So this is something which people don't know. And the lab test which we're using is the nasopharyngeal swab, where they swab your nose, and that is the most reliable test. That's called the COVID-19 PCR test. And for some people, they do antibody tests, but these antibody tests are useless to detect if you have an infection now. They're only to be used after recovery. So what's the treatment of COVID-19? It's very controversial. You must have had lots of WhatsApp forwards, all this information on how to treat COVID-19, and I think it's best left to the experts. I get on a daily basis at least 5 forwards from patients on how to treat COVID-19. Don't worry, we are all really reading the literature. There's so much literature. There's so many studies which show back and forth. So in the UAE, we are lucky. We have a very good protocol. The government is following this carefully, and they're using combinations of all these medications. Now, there are antiviral medicines. Everyone has heard of remdesivir, which is by Gilead Pharmaceuticals. It's not a cure. All it does is shorten the length of the disease by 5 days. So it's not curing anyone. So people say, oh, this is curing, that is curing. Nothing is curing. It might help you recover better. That's it. And other antivirals. Now, interestingly, when a person gets very, very sick or gets, very ill with a lot of lung problems, it's like an autoimmune disease. All of you suffer from autoimmune diseases. So it's like an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks the lungs or the other organs. So this is why many of our rheumatology medications are being used in this situation, where you can see you're using the anti-malarials. The hydroxychloroquine has been spoken about so much. We use hydroxychloroquine for rheumatoid arthritis. We use it in lupus. It's an anti-malarial drug. It is not used usually in psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis because it can worsen psoriasis. So this anti-malarial drug, controversy about whether it prevents COVID, whether it can treat COVID. In the UAE, it is definitely part of the treatment protocol. If you get COVID and you get admitted to the hospital, you will receive antiviral with hydroxychloroquine. Now, the jury is out whether it really works or not. Some studies show that it works well. Some studies have shown that it's not really useful. But also there were some studies which said, oh, it has very severe side effects on the heart. That's not true. Those studies, which were published in leading journals, the New England Journal of Medicine and the Lancet, were proven false. Those journals had to withdraw the papers because those investigators cooked up the data. That's terrible. Also, we're using these drugs for rheumatology, rheumatoid arthritis. People get Actemra. It blocks an inflammatory chemical called anti-IL-6 in the body, and that has been very useful in when the person gets very sick. This is our rheumatology drug. So we've been called in as rheumatologists to treat COVID. This anti-IL-6 drug is very useful when people get very ill because it blocks this autoimmune cytokine storm. In the last stages, people have a cytokine storm. So blocking IL-6, blocking IL-1 by anakinra, and also a tablet, which is a JAK inhibitor called baricitinib, Olumiant, and colchicine, which is a gout medicine, can also be used. So there are studies which are showing the efficacy of all these medicines on this list. So we have been using them. There have been very good responses. Even people who have been very ill are recovering. So maybe that's why we're seeing the death rate going down, because people are learning better how to treat this disease. Now, blood thinners are also being used because a lot of people, also lots of WhatsApp forwards have been sent about how there's a lot of clotting happening. So if your blood test shows a high D dimer, they use blood thinners, and oxygen is a very important part of the treatment. So this is what works. I mean, there's lots of other stuff about whether it works or not. And we really need a vaccine. It is in development in various parts. People are rushing to do it. So we will have it soon. So the big question here, why am I here? I'm going to answer this question. Are patients on disease-modifying drugs, such as methotrexate, or biological injections, such as Enbrel, Humira, Simponi, Cimzia, Cosentyx, Actemra, and Taltz, at higher risk of getting COVID? Should you be worried? So what has happened since this outbreak? In March, researchers around the world have collaborated to collect data. So every time one of my patients gets COVID, I enter the data on this worldwide database. So already there are 3,500 patients around the world, rheumatology patients who got COVID, which is not a big number considering now there are more than few millions of patients, 3 million, I think, who got COVID. But we have now 3,500 rheumatology patients in the database. And everything is very, very reassuring. So there's been one major study in a major rheumatology journal first. This is called the characteristics of hospitalization. What makes patients who with rheumatic diseases get more serious illness to put them in the hospital? Not everyone with COVID needs to go to the hospital because lots of people have mild disease. So in this study, they showed that anti-TNF biological drugs were associated with a decreased risk of hospitalization. It might protect people from getting into the hospital. Why? Maybe because it's blocking that cytokine storm, that that whole response. So, some of you are taking Cosentyx, it's blocking interleukin-17. Some of you are taking anti-TNF, that's blocking the TNF. Some of you are taking anti-IL-6. So all of these drugs are used in treatment of COVID, so they may be resulting in a decreased risk of hospitalization. So here in this study, it's published, a total of 600 cases from 40 countries were included. Nearly half of the patients got hospitalized, that is 46%. What was associated with a high risk of hospitalization is taking steroids or cortisone. Anything more than 10 milligrams per day for a long period of time is associated with a higher risk of getting more severe COVID. Use of conventional disease-modifying drugs such as methotrexate, Imuran, Arava, leflunomide, either alone or even in combination with biological drugs or even with the JAK inhibitors, was not associated with hospitalization. Anti-inflammatory medication also was not associated with increased hospitalization status. Some of you may have recalled that at some time the French said you shouldn't take painkillers because it might result in higher COVID or more serious disease. Well, that's not true. So the tumor necrosis factor, biological, as I said, was associated with a reduced risk of hospitalization, and the anti-malarial hydroxychloroquine did not seem to make a difference one way or the other. So this seems to be the experience. This is a worldwide experience. Early on in the course, we had a webinar with Professor Carlo Selmi from Lombardy in Italy. He was a rheumatologist who was at the front lines treating COVID patients. And he said, honestly, we're really not seeing our rheumatology patients getting very ill or landing up in the hospital. So that was very interesting and reassuring to us. Then, what is our local experience? So, I mean, myself, I have a lot of patients, but I've only had 5 patients who had COVID so far. 3 of them were on hydroxychloroquine, 1 was on methotrexate, and 1 was on biological anti-TNF drug. All of them had mild disease. The patient on the biological drug did not even go to the hospital. Now, only 1 of them who was on hydroxychloroquine went to the hospital. So they've all done really well. So this is very reassuring to us. I mean, we keep telling you all you're on immunosuppressant, but overall, we feel that patients should stay on their medications, because when you come off your medication, having high inflammation or having a high steroid dose actually results in a worse outcome. So you have to, the message is stay on your medications, listen to your doctor. So who really is at risk if it is not yourselves with immunosuppressant medicine? It's mainly obesity. Over and over again, I'm seeing that the young patient who's dying or who's getting worse outcomes is a patient who's obese. Diabetes, maybe high blood pressure. I'm not 100%. There's some studies which don't really come up with this. chronic renal failure, dialysis patients, patients on cancer chemotherapy. Unfortunately, men are doing worse than females. High dose of steroids, as I said, and chronic lung disease, and maybe smoking. Smoking, again, has not 100%. So how to stay safe? I think we just spoke about that. Usual precautions such as masks. Everyone's asking what type of mask. Is it a cloth mask, surgical mask? A cloth or surgical mask is more than enough. You don't need to wear the N95 mask. But if you're wearing a mask, wear it correctly. Everyone's coming to my clinic and the mask is here below the nose, or it's on the chin, or it's a necklace, or somebody even wearing the sunglasses on top of the head. So you really need to wear your mask correctly. If you're not covering your nose or mouth, it's not protecting you and it's not protecting others from you. So please wear it correctly. The N95 is a very tight mask. That's more for doctors and healthcare setting. So you don't really need that. Do you need gloves? No. I think you really need to be using hand washing with soap and water frequently. If you don't have access to soap and water, hand sanitizer should be used. Do you need to sanitize your groceries, packages, letters, etc.? Not needed. The amount of virus which may be, if a person with COVID handles your package and brings it to you and leaves it with you, or you get it from the grocery and the person in the grocery store has COVID, they're using gloves, first of all, in the grocery stores. But if you bring it home and still there is COVID on it, the amount of COVID is so little, it's very little that, I mean, it does last for a long time on these packages, but it's too little to cause a serious disease or to cause disease at all. So there's no evidence that COVID comes from people or comes from handling packages. It can come from other people. It comes from people. It doesn't come from packages. So what to do if you handle packages? Wear gloves, or else if you're handling them without gloves, wash your hands with soap and water. That's all that is needed. Okay, common question I get. How can I boost my immune system? First of all, if you have an autoimmune disease, we've been trying to suppress your immune system or bring it down to normal. We do not want to boost your immune system, but we want to maintain a healthy immunity. To maintain a healthy immunity, follow these steps. First of all, a healthy diet, which means less sugar. Because if your sugar is up, your outcomes are worse. Less sugar, less processed foods, less red meat, and stop smoking. Somebody said that smoking is good for COVID, and that's not true. Somebody said that alcohol is good for COVID. That's not true. But we don't have any evidence about alcohol, so I didn't put it in here. But less sugar, processed food. Eat lots of fresh vegetables because it's your gut microbiome. The more healthy your gut microbiome is, the better off you are. Now, some studies have really shown that vitamin D may be protective. So make sure your vitamin D levels are good, or else take supplements. If you cannot get a blood test now, just take some vitamin D supplements. About 5,000 IU per day is okay, or you can take 50,000 IU once a week for some time. Lots of people are asking about turmeric, ginger, etc. Overall, turmeric is a good antiseptic. We use it in our cooking. There are turmeric capsules, which is the concentrated form of curcumin. I think it can be helpful. Ginger is a natural anti-inflammatory, and then zinc and vitamin C supplements. So a lot of people are taking this. There's really no studies which show that this has really, good studies which show that this really reduces your risk of COVID or decreases your risk. And zinc and vitamin C should be there in your food. If you're eating a normal diet, zinc and vitamin C you should get from your food. It's only if you have a very restricted diet, you need to take a lot of multivitamins, etc. But vitamin D, we don't really get from our food. And we're not spending time in the sun. It's too hot to stand outside now. So vitamin D is a supplement that everyone should be taking. But if you want to take zinc and vitamin C, it's not harmful to you. And adding turmeric and ginger should also be good. But my most important message is be positive. All of us are getting depressed, distressed. When will this end? It will end. Just be patient. I think most of us in our situation are still lucky. We're thankful. When we see other people, we need to be thankful. We need to come from a place of gratitude that we have a roof over our heads. We still can put food on our table. Yes, we are worried about our jobs. We are worried about how we'll pay checks. We're worried about our loans. But, as long as we have our health, that's the biggest wealth we have. So let us first be grateful. There's so many people doing so much worse. If you look at countries like India, we've seen a lot of sad stories coming there. So we need to be positive. It will end. You have to exercise regularly. Things like yoga is absolutely a great exercise to do at home. Meditate and do breathing exercises. Breathing can help your lungs. And I think the most important thing to do when you're to be positive is think how you can help someone else. Reach out to someone who might be lonely. There are a lot of elderly people alone at home. Just make a phone call, support someone. When you are doing something for someone else, it takes your mind off your own problems. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
Thank a lot, Dr. Humira, for the very well informative information. And like the last also, positive, yani, this is what we really needed in this time, actually.
Thank you, ma'am. It was lovely.
Thank you, ma'am. Very nice talk, actually. It's very informative and really good.
Yeah, if you have any questions, I can take any questions.
I think some of our group have had some experience also. So we have more than 100 patients on various biologics already, ma'am. So the group is quite large. And we have also had some experiences. Mr. Govindarasulu, is he there? Can you unmute him? I think he had an experience with COVID, and he was willing to share it. I had asked him, and he said he is willing to share his experience. Govindarasulu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. You can, if you are willing, you can come on video also. Yeah. Tell me what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 months before already, sir, starting this COVID-19, sir, may yourself. After yourself also treatment also may go to the only quarantine only house only. You telling the which one only home treatment only, sir. After my family also very upset. Only 14 days only home, sir. Now after always make good, sir, now.
Okay. So anyway, to share Govindarasulu's story, Govindarasulu went for a COVID test in the early part of May, and it was done on the 5th of May, if I remember right. And then he was on a suppressive injection. So he took his biologic injection on the 10th of May. And unfortunately, the result was sent to him by email on the 11th. So this is the timeline. 5th, he did the test. He was just having a very mild fever and cough and nothing much for just a few days. On the 10th, he took a biologic for his psoriasis. And on the 11th, he got an email from the DHA saying that he's positive. So, of course, he called me and I told him that, look, so far the studies have been pretty much in favor. Of course, please do not take your next dose and keep me posted. The practical issues, of course, he had was that he was forced to be on a 14-day home quarantine. And then retesting was quite a challenge. By the time he finished that 14 days, he was pretty asymptomatic. In spite of having taken an IL-17 blocker, he was absolutely okay. And he didn't have any symptoms at all. And after the 14 days was over, he kept calling me and asking whether he can go back to work and whether he can restart the injection. These were two questions which were interesting. So we also had our international meets where I asked Professor Lebohill from the US also, when do we restart a patient who has gone through COVID and who turns out negative? So the answer was wait for at least 2 tests to be negative. Practically, they refused to do a repeat test for him. By the time he finished his quarantine, the workload was so much that they were not willing to do a test. With great difficulty, we somehow managed to get a test done 20 days after his first positive test, which was negative. Now it's more than a month, 1.5 months since all this happened, and he's back to work also. And nowadays, the policies keep changing every day. You know that originally they said you need 2 negative tests before you rejoin duty. Nowadays, they are not willing to even do a test. They are saying that, okay, there's no need for a test. If you are asymptomatic for more than 7 days, you can get back to work. So the main reason I'm thankful for Govindarajuru is that he was willing to come on video and speak about his experience. He was absolutely fine. And it gave us courage also to learn that in spite of being on an immunosuppressive, nothing happened. Regarding when do we restart, Professor Leboyle said you wait for 2 negative test results before you consider. And here the local authorities like Dr. Ashraf and When I was speaking to them, they said we should wait for 3 negative. The practical issue is that nobody is willing to do the test 3 times nowadays. So anyway, probably you will have to go on a clinical decision. Madam, any comments? Any?
Yeah, absolutely. See, there's a study which Singapore did, which was a very good, well done study, which showed that after 10 days of symptoms, the amount of shedding of viral load is so low that these patients are not really infectious, and there's not much virus in their body, and there seems to be that the antibody response is quite okay after about 10 to 2 weeks. So I'm saying if you're past the 2 week status, I mean, of course, we feel more reassured if you have 2 negative tests. But if you don't have a negative test, I'm saying wait for 2 to 3 weeks for your next dose after recovery. 2 weeks to 3 weeks after recovery. So we are sort of having to combine, as you said, common sense with what is available to us. If you're not able to do the test or get the negative test, I would say after recovery, 2 weeks later, you can take your next dose.
We have one more person, I think, Bryce, is it? Bryce, if he's on, can he come online? We need to hear a few words from Bryce. Lena, if you can unmute Bryce.
Yes, he can unmute himself now. Yes.
Hello, Bryce.
Hello, doctor. Hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
if you're willing, you can come on video also. Yeah, just to hear about your experience, that's all.
Actually, so how to start? Because
going on, you can join.
Yes, hello, doctor. Now it's clear.
Yeah, you can present without the PowerPoint, no problem.
Yes. Actually, this is my how can I say? I think this is my second life because I almost experienced totally in myself that I feel nothing because of this psoriasis. I totally depressed, and then I keep on searching how I can cure. I keep on reading every time what are the experience of the people. Then one day, I don't know how I meet my, I will call my Dr. Angel. This is Dr. Sir Kumar. Yeah. And then he told me that, okay, we will do anything, just keep on positive. Then after he introduced me, one of the charity. This is I don't know because ever since I'm live here at almost 7.5 years, I didn't know there is a charity here that helping people. And then after I introduced this Axios, Miss Sawayan, and also to Miss Najud. And then doctor helped me a lot. That's why I am this one. I call it. This is my second life of
Thank
of
you,
everything.
Yeah,
Yes,
with your
and also
permission, yeah. Tell
yes,
me.
and I also like to thank the charity and the man who made the charity. He's also have a big heart, and also not the owner or also all the partners and the staff, because especially to Miss Najud, she is the one calling me, oh Bryce, this one I will update you. You need to get your medicine. Don't leave your medication. It will be hard. So please, I will arrange. Then I will call you if already arranged. That's why I'm really very thankful. I'm
Thank
really
you.
very thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With your permission, I'll just say that Bryce went through a really tough time. He was admitted in hospital and all that, and he has given me permission to share his story a little bit.
Yes.
So Bryce had a psoriasis, which we call it as erythrodermic. Almost the entire body was involved. He was shivering. He was having problem maintaining his body temperature. He was weak. He was hypoproteinemic. He was admitted in hospital. And in fact, cyclosporin was tried for him for a short while, which ended up with some side effects. Somehow he landed up with me, and really I am very, very thankful to the Axios program also. We managed to put him on the IL-17 blocker, which produced really rapid improvement. just 2 or 3 quick points. One is that, see, a person like this who has a really a major issue with his disease definitely should not get worried about a COVID kind of a situation and suddenly stop his medication. See, one of the things is that you have to factor in how bad your psoriasis is also. So when you factor in that, and when you factor the other factors, and like everybody has said, use your common sense and keep yourself safe, use the precautions as advised by the government, and keep your social distancing, and don't go keep away from crowded places, and keep yourself safe. By and large, the experience that we have had with most of our patients is that we are in a safe zone. So thank you, Bryce, for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Anybody wants to say anything, you are most welcome. Put your hand up if you want.
Yes.
Otherwise, if Dr. Shaju is joined, has Dr. Shaju joined?
Doctor.
He just messaged me saying he's joining.
Yes. I think Dr. Shaju.
Hello. Did you join? Okay. Dr. Shaju said he's trying to join. He's struggling with his phone. So, okay. Anybody has any other comments? You are most welcome.
Yes, they can raise their hand. There is a hand. They can raise their hand. I can unmute anyone who want to speak or share their story.
Hello.
Yes.
I don't know if you are hearing me. This is me, Abir. I am a rheumatoid arthritis patient. I just wanted to thank all of you for your stories. This makes us more comfortable and not frightening so much from this disease. And I want to thank Dr. Humaira for her for everything she makes for us. She is a perfect doctor. I wish all my doctors were like her. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abir.
Thank you. Any slides were missed by your team, the Axios team? One or two slides were missed, or did you complete all your slides?
Doctor, we have completed, but we would like to hear from if any one of the participants have any kind of stories they want to share their experience.
Arshak is joined? I'm not sure. Let me check whether Arshak is joined. Let's see whether Dr. Shaju managed. Could you join, sir? Okay. No. Going on.
So this is Jafar.
Yeah, tell me, Jafar. Let's
Yeah. So I just want to share my experience. Good morning to all. Sorry, good afternoon to all. It's time already. Good afternoon to all. This is Jafar. I'm staying in Dubai. Actually, I had a psoriasis. No, actually, still I'm having psoriasis for past 12 years. Actually, I met doctor 10 months before. Now it's almost 10 months gone. Doctor advised me to go to use this Cosentrix because for me I'm the psoriasis is linked with psoriasis with the arthritis. So doctor advised me to take a Cosentrix injection. Now I'm taking the injections and it's a 1 year course, 10 month gone, and balance 2 months is there. And Alhamdulillah, now I am totally recovered and I'm happy that I'm really normal. And in fact, I forget about this. Still, I was suffering with the psoriasis. So I'm really happy to meet the doctor. And also, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Team Axis, especially to Rafa and Musanda team who has encouraged me and who has supported me and for the medicine on time availability of the medicine whenever I need the medicine. As per the treatment course, there are totally 15 medicines. So far I completed 12 medicines. Only 3 medicines is the balance now. So Alhamdulillah, I'm totally recovered now. And the Cosentrix, see if you can see my finger, it was the finger shape was changed, and the nails also totally the color was like black earlier, and it's totally changed, and Alhamdulillah it's become normal now. And I just want to share my experience. That's why I joined this meeting. And the main thing is you have to be more dedicated and you have to follow the advice of the doctor. That's the main thing. And along with me, so many persons are started the medicine, and I think some of them are left in middle of the course. If any course, if you are continuously following as per the advice from the your physicians, like your doctor, then you will get the real benefit. So that is the main thing. And Alhamdulillah, I followed as per the advice of doctor and the support of the team Axis and the Musanda team. Now I'm totally recovered, and I just want to extend my thanks to the entire team, and I'm really thanks to Dr. Stigma, who has given me the good advice on the right time. So I thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Good to you also. Yeah.
Thank you, Jafar.
You have helped a few other patients also to access charity. I know that you have helped a few people to even apply.
Yeah. I advised some of the people through your through doctor's advice.
That's very nice. Very nice. I think
Thank
Dr.
you.
Shaju is it?
Sorry.
Yes.
Dr. Shaju is joined. If he has joined, maybe we can let him.
Yes, Dr. Shaju, he joined.
Yeah. Then let him speak then.
Hi, Doctor. Dr. Shaju.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
From the very beginning, let me thank Dr. Srikumar for inviting me to address this wonderful support group of psoriasis in UAE and especially in Dubai. And we all know that we are going through such a stressful situation, and even in the middle of this such a stressful period of pandemic, to organize such a program and to ensure that people are joining for this webinar. It's a wonderful experience. I was little late to join because I had a couple of cases. Of course, these days, you all know that mental health, we are all going through stressful states. So also the mental health scenario. During this pandemic, actually, World Health Organization and UN has warned us that we are going to see a flood of mental health issues. So far, we have seen only a tip of the iceberg. Of course, we were too scared to go out because of the pandemic. We were worrying about getting COVID and getting admitted in the hospital and going to the ventilator, and we were worrying about the complications and death out of pandemic, which is quite understandable, especially when COVID infection has crossed 1 million across the globe, and the death crossed 500,000 across the globe. And we were also not short of the number of cases and deaths. We were around 50,000 cases plus in UAE. And by the grace of God, we could limit our casualties to less than 400. And now probably the UAE is seeing the flattening of the curve. So even when the situation is like this, for all of us, this is something new, which we were never anticipated and never foreseen, and no precedent. So we are all going through a highly stressful, uncertain stage. So that is why the importance of the life skills during the pandemic of COVID-19 is of such relevance to all of us, not only for you, not only for psoriatic support group. Across the globe, all people are going through difficult phases, and we need to learn new life skills to deal with it. As I told you, 1 million plus cases of infection and 500,000 plus cases of death. No vaccine still, no medicine still. And we were going through difficult phases of lockdown, closed borders, and world as globe as such came to a standstill. Of course, these are difficult times, and we need to adopt different ways to deal with it. Most important part of the whole thing is uncertainty. Still, we are uncertain that where exactly we are heading to. I was mentioning about the warning from the UN, and their statement was like this: a mental illness crisis is looming as millions of people worldwide are surrounded by death and disease and forced into isolation, poverty, anxiety by pandemic of COVID-19. The isolation, fear, and an uncertainty and economic turmoil, they all cause and could cause psychological distress. These are the warnings from United Nations and World Health Organization. And in my experience, what I'm saying is generally in a month, I'll see 40 to 50 new clients every month. And in last couple of months, the number of new clients I'm seeing in a month has crossed 150. So you can see it is almost 3 times of normal number of cases which I'm seeing. And generally, we rarely admit clients in the hospital. In last 2 days or 3 days, 5 admissions. Yesterday night, 3 admissions. Today morning, 2 admissions. So it shows that the number of cases of mental health issues which requires admission and intensive care is increasing in the sense like out of proportions. So we need to get prepared to go through it. At least we should be able to safeguard ourselves by landing up in mental health issues or the difficult times. So what are the lessons which COVID taught? Before going into the details of the detailed discussion of the life skills, let us try to understand what are the lessons which COVID-19 taught us. The first lesson which COVID-19 taught us is to learn to slow down. Learn to slow down, because we were going in a faster pace. Whichever be the areas where we focus on, concentrate on it, we were running like anything. So we have to learn to slow down. Second lesson which COVID taught is stick to the basics, whether it is regarding the healthcare or whether it is regarding the financial management or whether it is regarding the educational policies. Stick to the basics. And the third lesson which COVID taught is basically nature will go on its own corrections when things are going out of hand. So at least our globe, our earth got a time to rejuvenate and bounce back and teach human beings a lesson that it is not only for you, but for all of us, for all the living things. And the fourth lesson which COVID taught us is adaptability, that we should learn. Of course, human beings are highly adaptable, and it has clearly given us an idea that to what extent we should learn the skills of to become adaptable to new situations. And fifth is uncertain life with full of surprises, both pleasant and unpleasant. On one side, the life is always uncertain, and even when we try to make it certain, even when we try to set goals in our life, always be ready to face the unpleasant and pleasant surprises in our life. Of course, this came with a lot of unpleasant surprises. And the next lesson with COVID taught is this is not an individual game. This is a team game where we have to fight it out as a team, whether the COVID-19 and the health issues, or the economical issues, or the family dynamics issues. We have to fight it out as a team. And lastly, we have to live in a new normal life. So probably these are the lessons which COVID taught: to slow down, to stick to the basics, and wait. At times, nature will correct by its own corrections. Adaptability is the key, and wait for the uncertain, unpleasant surprises. And team game is something which is going to reward us. So what are the challenges we face these days? We face challenges in 4 different areas. We face challenges in the area of health. We face challenges in social dimension. We face challenges in economical areas, and we face challenges in the family dynamics. With regards to the health challenges, of course, COVID-19 and contained COVID-19, the spread of infection is the major challenge. The next major challenge, or the challenge which we haven't seen in detail, or we have seen the tip of the iceberg, is the one which I have mentioned, that is the mental health issues, which is going to have an upsurge in disproportionate terms. And then the social issues. Socially, of course, we learn to keep the social distancing. But of course, social distancing is having plus and minus. In the current scenario, social distancing is a must, is an essential thing to avoid getting infected or giving infections. While social distancing is something which, if it strictly follows, it will lead to a state where we are not socially stimulated, and definitely social skill will be affected. Since we human beings are social animals, it will actually give us the whole lot of distress. Then comes the economical. We all know that one of the major reasons for the stress which we are going through these days is the economical issues, or the recession, or job loss, business collapsing these days. So today morning and yesterday night, I have admitted two cases who lost their job when their company actually went for massive laid off. So when they were laid off for roughly 6,000 to 7,000 employees, all of a sudden, these people were not prepared enough to go through it. And they felt like their world has come to an end, and why should we live like this? Why can't we put an end to it? And both the cases, one was attempted to jump from the high-rise building, and the other one was taking alcohol without any control, in the sense like binging for many days to end his life. So economical issues across the globe, we are facing the lot of pressure, and especially for countries like India, where the roughly 20 to 25 to 30% of the total world population, total Indian population, is below poverty line. We can imagine the amount of stress we are going to go through. Then next is the family dynamics. We are not used to sit inside our home under one roof for 24 hours or for months as part of the lockdown. So what is happening with the family dynamics? So this is a new normal. Our personal space is getting lost. Our personal time is getting lost. And everywhere people are getting intruded into our personal space and personal time, whether it is your wife, husband, or kids. So everybody is losing their personal time. And so since we are not used to spend this much time with our family members, or with whoever, be the roommates or shared apartment or wherever it is, we are getting suffocated and congested, and a lot of issues in the family dynamics. So these are the 4 major challenges which we are facing. Coming to the mental health scenario, and towards the end, we will learn what are the important life skills which we need to practice. Let me just rush through what are the issues which we are facing during this COVID days. Coming to regarding the mental health issues can be considered as a new pandemic or even worse pandemic than COVID-19. One particular fact or statistics which we must know is across the globe before COVID-19, 800,000 people were committing suicide in a year. 800,000 people. So when compared to the death due to the COVID, still the death due to COVID is only 500,000. So even before COVID, suicide was such a dangerous pandemic. And now we are seeing increasing number, exponentially increasing numbers of suicide, and which we have seen again in during the times of major depression, that is 1918 to 20 period. What we have seen is the number of suicides and depression was increasing like anything when the world, the globe as such went through the financial recession. So same is the case which I am seeing here, and same will be the case across the globe. Anxiety disorders, especially the illness anxiety, we will call it as hypochondriasis. That was there in the beginning, especially when this COVID was started. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, continue, sir. Continue. Your video
Yes.
got stopped, but the audio is okay.
You can't see me?
Yeah, I think the video got stopped or something.
Just 1 second, let me check.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yep. So anxiety disorders, especially illness anxiety. Illness anxiety is hypochondriasis. We are all worrying about getting COVID and having COVID and giving COVID to our family members or friends. Each and every physical symptom we were attributing to COVID, and people were rushing to the emergencies and hospitals to rule out the possibility of the COVID. Panic disorder or panic attack, which were presenting with a palpitation, hyperventilation, dizziness, vertigo, the butterfly sensation in the stomach. Again, this was extremely common. People who were already OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or perfectionist or cleanliness freak, they become all the more. So these were common anxiety disorders which are reporting these days. Sleep was a major issue. In last 2 months, probably since April, after March, in the month of April and May, the maximum number of cases which I have seen was because of the sleep disorders or insomnia. Substance use disorders are again increasing on in numbers because people are trying to cope in a very maladaptive way by resorting to alcohol, nicotine, and other substances. And finally, the relational problems. One of my friend who is working as a senior advocate in High Court in Cochin, he was trying to tell me, like, doctor, the number of cases coming for divorce are exponentially increased in last couple of months. So probably the mental health issues which we are seeing as a new pandemic during these days, these are the common cases: depression, suicide, anxiety, sleep problems, substance use disorders, and relational problems. And coming to the social issues, social distancing. Social distancing basically prevented an opportunity to be the social animals, to exchange the social stimulations, to meet people and greet people. And unfortunately, because of the current condition, we are people without any faces, because we are forced to use mask all the time, and face is something which communicate your emotions as it is, especially when the non-verbal communications are much powerful than verbal communications. We basically are going through a phase where we are not able to communicate to each other using the best modality of communication, that is non-verbal communication. So definitely this will create the whole lot of issues. And another important social issue which we are facing is discrimination based on COVID and non-COVID, and racial discrimination. And these are increasingly common these days during these COVID days. And definitely the children who are bound to sit inside home within 4 walls of the house, basically they are lacking the social stimulation. So we are all lacking social stimulations, especially the kids, unfortunate victims. And economical situations, changing equations basically caused the whole lot of economical crisis. And a lot of people are losing their job, and a lot of business collapse. And even since the country, every country is basically going through difficult times, even when they are declaring stimulus packages, they are finding it difficult to to help people who are going through difficult times. That is why again UN and WHO has clearly warned us the world is going to go through poverty, and kids are the one who are going to get affected because of that. So economical problems, still we are yet to see that to the extent of the economical problems. Family dynamics, which we have discussed already. There one issue is personal space and personal time versus family space and family time. And this was, see, earlier what was happening is we were having a bigger personal space and bigger family time, and it was compromising our the family space and family time, and was creating problems in the family. Now we have bigger family space and family time. That is also causing issues because we are our personal space and personal time has narrowed significantly, so nobody is getting that space, and they are getting congested and going through the difficult phases. So we have to have a balance. And communication within the family is another important issue, because we don't know how to communicate. Now we are forced to communicate, and we probably we have discussed in our last session also, and effective communication should be a dialogue. And unfortunately, none of the families dialogues was not happening. That was creating the whole lot of issues. And wherever the dialogue was not happening, and during these COVID days when they were staying indoors because of the lockdown and working from home, this communication can lead to the whole lot of problems. So we must learn to communicate properly to have an effective dialogue. And roles and responsibilities is the other important aspect, because earlier everybody was having certain roles and responsibilities, and basically they have ignored the responsibilities of the other person, thinking that yes, as a taken for granted, they will do it, they will do these kind of things, and it is none of our business to pay attention to those responsibilities. Now they have realized, no, we have to share the responsibilities. That will create the whole lot of tension if they are not ready to respect the other person and their responsibilities, and try to understand you are right. More than your rights, you have to know your responsibilities. And children, again, the issue which we are facing is they lack social stimulation. They don't have any physical exercise. We usually advise them to stay away from gadgets. Now we are forcing them to be with the gadgets and to attend online classes. Or in a way, even when they have to sit with the gadget for the online classes, slowly these children are getting addicted to gadget, and their number of hours of screen time is increasing exponentially, which is giving them the whole lot of issues. And it is, in a way, it is affecting dynamics at home. So what are the common skills we should learn during this, common life skills which we should learn during this COVID days? One important life skill which we should acquire and practice is the ability to resilience. So the capacity to bounce back, just like a spring, that is something which is important. How can we do that? Always remember, maybe you are going through the most difficult days in your life, but remember, you were the same person who built up your career to whatever be the peak you have attained. Because not because of your fault it has come down at this stage, but you are the same old person. You can rebuild it again. Feel confident in your strength, and remember that you are the same person, and this is only for a short period of time. So you will be able to go through this difficult, stressful situation, knowing your strength, making use of your strength, and you will be able to bounce back soon. The second thing which we must learn during this difficult phase is, as I told you, be an effective communicator, and learn to be a... Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And the second important part is the be an effective communicator. And there are 4 different major aspects or prerequisites to be an effective communicator. One is it should be a dialogue. Second, both the parties should be active listeners. Active listener is a person who actively listens to the other person. Third, there should not be any bias and prejudices. Fourth, even before starting the conversation, you should be ready to arrive at a consensus, so it will not end up in fights. So if you are an effective communicator, even when you are staying indoors for long, even when you have to work from home, you are not going to face any issues in communication, and because of the poor ineffective or unhealthy communication, and you will not invite any conflict between the family members. The next is with regards to the economical part, learn the art of spending money in the most sensible way, because we should be sensible in spending. Yesterday, I have seen a girl who came with her father, and her father was trying to tell me, like, doctor, every day, on everyday basis, she wants to go out and to buy branded items. She doesn't know why she needs all those things. She doesn't know when exactly she's going to use this. And she doesn't know how much income I have. She believes that my father is a good businessman. I can go out and I can have whatever I want. So sensible spending, if you're not learning to spend sensibly, if you don't learn the art of saving money and investing sensibly, of course, we may have to wait for unpleasant surprises in our life. During those unpleasant surprises, you will not enough to support yourself. So at least we must learn a we should become people who are having financial literacy, and we should learn how to spend it properly in the most sensible way. When mindfulness is another important art. What exactly is mindfulness? Of course, we are going through difficult times. We feel like this is the end of the world. But remember, if you live in the past and live in the future, past will always push you to a state of depression, and future is completely uncertain. It will always push you to a state of uncertainty and anxiety. So mindfulness means being mindful of the present. This moment God has allowed me to spend or to live in the best possible way. Let me live in this moment rather than living in the past and going into depression, living in the future and going into anxiety. And adaptability is another important life skill which we need to practice, because we need to know that yes, I was living in luxury, but now I am not having. I was having a good job of with very good package. Now my packages are less. They need to learn how to get adaptable to this particular situation, understanding the fact that yes, this will not last long, and this also will go through. These painful days also will go through. So this is one important quality human beings whom has when compared to the other species of the animal kingdom. And one thing which we can practice during these difficult days, of course, you may not be going through a difficult phase, but your friends and family members may be going through. So try to become an empathetic listener. An empathetic listener means a person who is getting into the shoe of another person. So then you will be able to listen to them empathetically and experience their pain and trauma. That itself will be therapeutic for your friend or family member, and you can save many lives. And definitely we must understand the fact that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So be hopeful. And couple of things which you must do as daily routine is eat well, sleep well, and exercise well. Wherever you are, all these things are very important. Whatever be the difficult state you are going through, these things are very important, especially sleep and the exercise part, because when you do exercise, that will work as a very good stress buster. And when you sleep well, understand the fact that sleep is the most rejuvenating thing. And when you reach a point that yes, there is no options and possibilities in my life, always try to think out of box. As we discussed in the beginning, in difficult times you should go for different ways. Then you will be able to manage the situation. And one last thing which I would like to mention before I wind up, or two things basically. One is the time management, and second is the setting smart goals. Time management, because of course setting smart time management basically comes with setting smart goals. Who is a smart person? A smart person is a person who sets specific goals, measurable goals, actionable goals, realistic goals, and time sensitive goals. In difficult times, when we adopt different ways, you should be smart enough to set some smart goals so that you will be able to achieve your goals and to have peace of mind in your life. And remember, to get the smart goals, to reach out to your smart goals, you should be a team player, so that team means together everyone achieves more, whether it is at home, in the school, or in the workplace, or with your friends. If you can consider everything as a team, whether it is between the countries or across the globe, whether it is fighting with COVID or the coming anticipating pandemic of mental health professionals, if we can work together as a team, just like the support group which you are having together, we will achieve more. Let me conclude by saying this. Of course, we are going through difficult times, and human beings have a great potential of adaptability to adapt to different difficult situations, and that is why we have assumed this new normal during the period of COVID. Let this COVID, even when it has come up with a lot of unpleasant surprises, let it teaches us a lot of new skills, and let it open up a lot of new opportunities. Let it give us a lot of new insights. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Shaja.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, doctor. Very nice speech. Very nice.
We'll need it in this time.
Yeah, exactly. We need a lot of that. Pointers were really good. Thank you so much.
I think.
Anything from your side, Lina? Anything more?
No, it's the floor for you, Doctor. I don't know if anyone have any question, any concern they want to share it as a, or you can conclude. 1 second, let me see the screen. It's not. I think from.
We can conclude.
Conclude, yes, Doctor.
Maybe you can remove this slide.
Okay. You want to share something, Doctor?
No.
Nothing.
Just so first thing is I want to thank each and every one of the participants today. See, we are very, very blessed. Like Dr. Shaju said, we need to be very grateful. And we are grateful that we have food on our table and we have a roof over our head and we are all healthy. And believe me, these are very stressful times. And even in these times, our team has done a wonderful job. The first thanks must be, of course, to Deepa because she actively managed to coordinate with everybody. Lina and the Axios team, Rafa, Lina, all of them. Okay. And believe me, they have been supporting all our patients throughout this period, even when patients who required their medications during the complete lockdown. Many people managed to get it home delivered, and the support system and the adherence and compliance that we could maintain was really wonderful. And of course, the thanks will not be enough both to Dr. Humaira Badsha and to Dr. Shaju George, who contributed a lot to us. Dr. Humaira, with all her experience and with her rheumatology team also joining in, with some of her rheumatology patients joining in today, contributed a lot because we have a lot in common with a lot of patients who are on immunosuppressives. And of course, these are stressful times, and the life skills that Dr. Shaju shared with us is very, very important. From my side, my entire team, Dr. Marianne, who has joined from the clinic, even though she's working, Sister Gina, Sister Lata, of course, Abdul Karim and Dr. Gerard Shoab, our CEO. So the team has been really wonderfully supporting our efforts. So without wasting too much time, let me say thank you very much to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Doctor, and thank you for everyone for attending today, and hope next time it will be in person. Inshallah, it will be all, we'll see each other. And if there is anything we can do it for the next meeting, feel free to share it with Doctor, of course.
Thank you. Keep safe. We will meet again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.